So after a not so stellar evening out with Kohei, Sienna called Jenna to let her know about how it went and how disappointed she was with the evening. And it's Sunday morning now, so Sienna is going to get the baby ready and then head out to church. But then after that, she's going to do as Jenna suggested. She is going to spend the afternoon with Paka. So Paka, as you can see, is a little busy. He's still in the shower. So when she comes in, she expects to see him, but she can't see him on the first floor. So she heads up on the other side that she hasn't seen yet, of his house, where she understands his bedroom is. And she can sort of hear noise coming from the room. So she heads in, and then she hears the shower. So she's like, I'll just wait for him to come out. So he comes out, and he's quite happy to see her. Hello. She's like, good to see you too. And so she has so much gossip that she wants to share with him. She's not sure exactly how, I don't know, okay it is to talk about how unhappy she is in her relationship with Kohei with a past lover. I don't want to say lover, but, like somebody that could have been like her romantic partner. Like, this is probably in poor taste. But it's the main reason why she decides she wants to spend the afternoon with him to begin with. So she's going to be sort of going out with him and spending the afternoon and just trying to have a good time. All right, so we are at a local property that Kohei's company was responsible for developing. And as we can see, there are a number of shops. We're heading into the coffee shop now. We're going to have a seat so we can claim a table. I built this lot. It took me quite a while to build it. It includes a lot of CC, but I wanted to try to make it look like a nice little local coffee shop. And so in order for it to function properly for this part, I made sure to make it a cafe. So there are going to be lots of people who are coming in. So I thought it was important for us to claim a table first. Okay, so Sienna and Paka are just chatting for a little bit. They're trying to order some food. Actually, in the course of things, they didn't receive their food. So I had to sort of just fake it. But it's better because I used some really, really, really cute CC that I haven't really had a chance to use in any kind of, I don't know, creative way. So that was fun for me. The little cake and cupcake look so tasty. I think it's so fantastic. Okay, so then they settle back down in their seat, and as you can see, it's getting a little crowded, and that guy from yesterday is there too, very uncomfortable. But anyway, luckily he buzzes off. And so Sienna and Paka settle into their chat. So basically, Sienna is going to express her frustration. She's going to tell Paka a lot about how she's not happy with basically the decisions that she's made up until now. And she felt that, out of high school, she would be, even though she is just out of high school, that she would be better suited to, making appropriate decisions and making sure that she could maintain a high level of, I don't want to say autonomy, but her individuality while she was going through the things that she's going through, while she's making the decisions that she's making. One thing that she does think that she's done well, of course, is the whole thing with the adoption process with the baby. And Paka also agrees with that. He tells her that, hey, although I did help out with that a bit, although your dad did help you out with that a bit, this is something that you feel you have complete control over, at least right now. Nobody's telling you how to raise the baby. Nobody's telling you what to do with the baby. So, that is all completely up to you. So you should feel more confident in yourself. And he also says when it comes to the bookstore, that she can try to take more control if she wants. And so then she tells him about the design. She says, these are the designs that Kohei recommended, and these are the ones that I want to do. And so he tells her, hey, if this is what you want to do, then do it. And, whatever Kohei says, be damned. And so she really appreciates his support. And they're doing that little chair city through thing again. Can you not? So rude. Okay. So she appreciates his advice. And so as their little snack time winds down, Paka's like, hey, there's a karaoke place, a door down. So I think that we should head over there and just let loose. And she goes, okay. It is a rather blustery day. But one of the things that's kind of frustrating about playing this game is that, of course, as Sims go in and out of a place, they will typically change their clothes, from their regular clothes to their outdoor clothes or, their summer clothes or whatever. And that can be kind of frustrating because it's very inconsistent, in terms of the gameplay. So yeah, I don't want them to wear their outer clothes. So they're just they're cold. We'll just put it that way. All right, so here they are relaxing with a little karaoke song. And Sienna is so impressed by Paka because Paka has a wonderful voice and she knows that he also likes music. She and her brother are big, like, what's the music word for, like, you know how with food it's a foodie? What do you call the person who really loves music? I don't know. I also think it's kind of cute that there's an extended period where nobody's singing at all, but they're like mimicking singing. It's so cute. All right, yeah, they're not doing anything, but like the music just stops. It's kind of awkward, but it looks like they're having a good time. They have good moves. The Sienna, just getting it in. Yeah, and Paka's voice section selection. I don't know how they choose which singing voice they'll get, but it's really good. So Sienna is like totally smitten. I don't understand the background movie though. That didn't seem related at all. But Sienna's rather proud of herself, and so is Paka. And so at this point, I wanted them to talk a little bit more. And what happened was they paused for a very, very long time. And I'm like, what is the problem? And then eventually Sienna's dad came in, but we're just going to pretend like he wasn't there. He's always coming in at the worst points. So as usual, it's important to make sure that Sienna stays on top of her finances. I know in the previous part, it was a little unfortunate, but because I have to move her in and out so often, sometimes I do enable free build. And it means that when she moves in, she'll have a lot more money than she actually has. Like she'll have basically the lot value in terms of money. And sometimes I forget to set it back to what it was before she moved out. So in the previous part, you'll see, you might have noticed that she had a lot more money than she actually has. But I made sure to subtract the money that she spent from her actual amount, and this is how much she has at the moment. Okay, so we can see here, I just want to give you a little bit of update about Kohei and the difference between Kohei and Paka. And yeah, it's kind of sad, but you know, we'll see how things go. So on one side of her room, she has the pictures of her and Kohei. On the other side, she has a cute little stuffed animal that she got from Paka. And yeah, that's basically the feeling of her and her mind right now is just kind of like balancing the two and, you know, trying to figure out like which side she's pulling towards more strongly. It isn't that she doesn't like Kohei. It's just that, and we're very proud of her because she maxed out the painting skill. And at this point, she would basically be set if we decided to just keep her painting and selling the paintings. But I think having her do these little jobs in the freelancer career and then making sure that they all get approved is a pretty solid way of making sure she has just enough income coming in to where it doesn't seem like unfair, like it's nerfed enough, you know? And so this time I didn't have to cheat, which is great because sometimes the game gives me no choices, right? And we're going to go ahead and make our loan payment. And so Sienna is going to settle down for the night. So we can see the snow coming down on her wonderful property, which is going to undergo a grand transformation. So it's the morning of. Sienna has already put in the order for most of the things that are going to come for her bookstore. And we're going to start to do the interior. My idea for this build, I think I may have mentioned before, was for it to be very colorful, very playful, like a place for young people to come and hang out. Again, Sienna's only 19, so when I say bookstore, it doesn't mean it's going to be some kind of, you know, stuffy library-looking place. Instead, it should look like a place that's very comfortable and cozy for people to come. I imagine that, you know, this is a pretty late, you know, iteration of life, and that they have their iPhones and they have their tablets and things, and they can probably, you know, read books on their tablets the same way that we do. But that Sienna is trying to get people of her generation to understand the beauty and the value of creating things from scratch, the same way that she creates her art, even though she uses, what do you call this thing? She uses the tablet. At the same time, you know, she is putting the time and effort into it. She isn't just using a filter. She isn't just using some kind of app, you know, that's going to do the effect for her. She's still making the art herself by hand, basically. And so that kind of appreciation, you know, of the time and the energy, the love, the passion that goes into creating something is something that she wants to, you know, sort of foster in the younger generation. Of course, the design is going to be kind of young and kind of fresh, but at the same time, it's going to be true to an older bookstore style. So it's not just going to be ebook this and ebook that. We're going to have real books here for people to actually touch, read, and they can just hang out. And Sienna's idea about starting a business was not necessarily to become rich. Sienna's idea behind having a company is basically to have a way to reach out to the community, have there be a way for people to come and hang out and have a good time, and stay connected face to face, as opposed to just always on the computer or always on a tablet. So, for her, if she doesn't make a lot of money, that's not really the point or the purpose. If she can continue to make money with her art, or every now and again with Paca's help, if she sells one of his books, for example, then that's good enough for her. It's good enough for her to support the bookstore doing other kinds of work at the same time, because she can do both at the same time. And so I like the way that the bookstore is coming together. Just like with her office, I'm not going to say that this is like the final design. I am not exactly happy with the CC versus the Maxis. I would say that's the main reason why I might make some changes later on. All right, so here's just this male lady. I thought she was, I can't remember her name, that celebrity. She has her same hair. It's not Holly. I forgot her name. But anyway, she reminded me of her, but I turned the headline effects off, so I can't see what her name is. Anyway, she left. And I highly doubt that the game would just make one of the celebrities the male person. And as per usual, everybody's blowing up her phone. But she is basically waiting for the arrival of Kohei and Alex. And so this time, instead of having them move in, I just made a club gathering. They don't have a job in the game, so there should never be any conflict of them coming over and hanging out if I do it this way. Hee hee. This is an easier way to tell the story without always having to control them. All right, so as you can see, Sienna is still feeling very warm towards Kohei, even though their friendly relationship, their green relationship, isn't doing so good. And so she's trying to smooth things over. Please don't ask me why she is the one who's smoothing things over when he is the one who's messing up so much, but whatever. I feel like Sienna would be that kind of person if she feels that the person she's dealing with has some redeemable qualities. If she felt he had no redeemable qualities, then she wouldn't bother. We'll just put it that way. She just wants to smooth things over. And so she spent some time. Of course, she had people who delivered the items and helped her place a few of the items, but she spent some time putting the merchandise up. So she wants to get some feedback from Alex and Kohei. So Alex says, I love it, basically. I love it. Don't change a thing. And she walks off to go do some paperwork inside the office, which, of course, it's supposed to be Sienna's private space, but they go in the office anyway. It's kind of frustrating. Okay, so as we can see, Kohei has a few more things to say about the space. He's being polite about it, which Sienna can appreciate. But at the same time, she doesn't like the fact that he is critical of the design. He thinks it's not... He doesn't understand her business plan, right? So, as you can see, he just comes over here and he's like, I hate it. And it's like, oh, come on, right? And so he feels like it's not good enough for the local clientele. So he knows that there are a lot of families in the neighborhood. He knows that, these people are looking for, they do want a nice place to hang out and things like that. But he's afraid that this is going to sort of not be inviting enough for their older customers. And Sienna's like, what older customers? So it is a little cold, so nobody can blame Kohei for going over and lighting a fire. And actually, Alex is just playing games, but we're going to say that she's working. Okay, so while we're in here, basically we're going to be talking about the finances just a little bit, because Sienna has absolutely no idea what to expect Sienna has no idea what to expect or, what she's supposed to do to start. And she's also curious about hiring staff. So this is something that Kohei and Alex do have experience with. So she's just kind of racking their brain and trying to get some advice on that aspect of the business. And so Alex basically tells her that, you can leave it to us, but Sienna's not she doesn't want to leave it to them. She wants to make some decisions herself. And so Alex says, okay, I understand. Don't ask me why Kohei changed. I have no idea. But it looks good. Anyway, and so Kohei is like, oh, leave it to her. What are you talking about? Just leave it to her. Like, this is obviously something that, is very important. It's easy to make mistakes. So why would we just leave it to her? She has no experience. She doesn't know what she's doing. And Sienna's like, look, I'm putting my foot down. I'm going to be in charge of the hiring, and I'll let you guys help me out with the finances. And so then Kohei doesn't necessarily say okay, but, there's not much he can say otherwise because Sienna put her foot down. And so Sienna's just making a few notes based on what they're letting her know about in terms of the finances. I'm sorry, I just find it funny. Alex is playing a game. It's not really funny, I know. But Sienna is helpful. I'm sorry. Sienna is happy to be getting their advice because, to be honest, it's the scariest part of starting the business for her. And so she doesn't want to leave it to them. At some point, she's going to get the advice and then tell them thank you and then ask them to butt out. Is basically the idea. So at this point, they are going to head out, and she's going to finish up a little bit more work just to settle her mind. She's going to make a few more notes. Oh, it's nice to have some peace and quiet. I think that Sienna would be super excited that her place is basically finished. Yeah, but as we can see in this little area here, it's almost all basically Max's match, and it doesn't really match the other furniture as well. And so, I can't blame Kohei for being like, bleh, in that corner of the room. And I think the final thing that we will do before we consider opening or anything like that is to at least make sure that there is a bathroom. But yeah, so lately, Sienna hasn't been able to do much exercise. And so she's going to actually splurge right now. So she knows she can't go jogging because she can't leave the baby alone. So we're going to say that when she had everything delivered, she also had some exercise equipment delivered so that she would be able to do some exercise without having to leave the house, or I should say the property. She's not necessarily like in the cabin. If I say cabin, just understand I mean mobile home. Okay, so she's not in her little mobile home. So she's not going to be able to get to the baby so fast, but at the same time, she's not off the property. So, she can still at least very, very quickly get there as opposed to going jogging in the neighborhood and leave the baby alone. That would be kind of not good. And I do realize that the second floor is undone. There aren't any windows. There would be windows this far into the construction otherwise. So I think the next thing that I'll plan to do after I finish the bathroom is definitely getting a little bit of a living space up here, especially so that she can get herself and the baby out of the cold, just temporarily. I'd like to thank you so much for watching today. I hope you enjoyed the episode, and I hope to see you again in another one.